Warning, this podcast contains spoilers.
Good evening, and welcome back to Big Brother, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for BB19. I am your host, Big Brother historian and superfan Luke Labagnera, coming to you live from East Haven, Connecticut. With me, my fellow co-host and Big Brother podcast historian, Dom Greco, coming to you live also from East Haven, Connecticut.
How's it going?
It's going great, and boy, do we have some juicy gossip to cover tonight as what's been going on inside the Big Brother house. I believe it is now day 73, but in the last several days of this week, a lot has gone down, and it was a lot of edge-of-your-seat excitement, let me tell you. Beginning with, it's that time again for a special edition of the veto competition, and it's the famous Hide and Go veto competition.
I love this competition.
I do. But what I don't like is how it affects my OCD.
That's why I love it.
I know, but trashing that whole house, and then...
Did you see Kevin? Like, Kevin's reaction? Like, that's... Kevin's reaction is basically you, right?
I'm sorry, but I was seeing myself in Kevin all through this competition because they were tearing that place apart.
Yeah.
All over. There was food all over. I mean, every year it's the same thing. I mean, surprisingly, I didn't see any food on the floor. I mean, did you happen to see food on the floor?
No, the food was, it seemed like, the food was, was it last year or the year before? Last year? I think it was both, where they literally just opened cereal boxes and just threw cereal everywhere. Just because they had a grudge against the house at the time. Like, I think Frankie did it 2 seasons ago, and I think Paul did it just to kind of cause some chaos last season. But yeah, this season Paul's been playing really reserved, so he doesn't want to cause too much chaos. You know, he's very methodical in his scheming this year.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a little bit of the same gameplay he brought back this year. I mean, it kind of looks like it's been recycled, his gameplay. Like, he's using the same strategy, only a little bit more wiser, because this is his second time playing the game.
Yeah.
And,
But what I love about this competition,
you just like the Mets.
Well, no, it's not that. It's the fact that you cannot throw the competition unless you put your veto, like, on a chair and just be like, here's my veto, you know? But why would you do that? And you can't like, oh, I'm gonna throw the competition to, say, Paul. You know, you can't do that. You cannot decide who you're throwing it to because you cannot communicate with each other during the entire competition. And you know, like, maybe if you had the foresight ahead of time to be like, look, if the hide and go veto competition's coming up, I'm gonna hide mine in the refrigerator. You know, maybe you could do that, but nobody's done that in the history of Big Brother yet. You know, they've not schemed that way. But even so, why would you do that? And you'd only do that if the entire house agreed to throw it. You know, so you'd want your veto hidden as long as possible because, you know, you'd want a chance to win. Which Jason put his in the most ridiculously obvious spot, and it somehow got overlooked, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they were digging through, but it's like they didn't feel that hard, because it's got to be made of wood, this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised they bypassed it. That was the only thing that surprised me. I'm like, are these people serious? Maybe Cody's got a good point. They are a bunch of lunatics.
Yeah. Well, the strategy for messing the house up, though, is to disguise that particular area to make it seem like it's already been looked in. You know, because if you come along a couch... Like, you're looking for the veto, right? And you come along a couch, and the couch is in perfect condition. You're going to be like, oh, well, nobody's checked that yet, so, you know, you're going to go to the couch. But if you walk into a room and the couch is turned upside down, the pillows are thrown everywhere, you're going to be like, somebody looked through that already. So if you hid yours in the couch, if you turn that couch upside down, you have a less likely chance people are going to look for it. You know? So that's why they mess it up.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100% on that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. I mean, but the only thing that I mean, I like the hide and go veto because it's a challenge and it takes longer than most competitions do, and it's hard to explain how it works. You have to hide your veto in a very secure spot in the house where you think nobody is going to look for it and the last place to find it, right? And if your veto is not found, then you have won the power of veto. But if your veto was found, you're eliminated from the competition. You
Yep.
lost.
Yep.
So that's basically how it works. So
I wonder if anybody's ever found their own veto.
You know what? That's what I like to know too. I don't remember exactly. I mean, do you remember anybody ever finding their own?
Not that I could recall, but it'd be weird, like, to say, oh, you hit it in a pillow, and somebody else hit it in a pillow, and the pillows got jumbled around, and you don't know which veto is which, so you could potentially find your own veto, and that would be terrible.
Right, and that's the strategy of this competition is kind of backwards. You're hoping your veto doesn't get found because your veto's found, then you're eliminated, and that person finds your veto basically, and it tells who found whose. So, with that being said, several of the vetoes have been found, so it all came down to the final one. So, congratulations, Jason. You have won the Golden Power of Veto. So, not only has Jason won HOH that week, he has won the power of veto, so he holds full power for this week inside the house. He can make any kind of decision that he wants.
Yep.
So, with that being said, but like I said, before this whole competition and before the whole thing was being sprued out, after nominations, when he nominated Matt and Raven for eviction, he basically this is what ticked me off this season, and I could understand where we're going to get to in a minute. We're going to get there in a second, but did he or did he not, and I'm saying this out of sarcasm, did he or did he not pull Raven in for a hug and whisper in her ear, I am pulling you down. You have nothing to worry about. He gave her that
Did.
Yeah, so...
But I think he legitimately forgot at the same time.
Well, he's not that old. He's only 38 years old.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You forget things all the time. Like, I forget. I walk into a room sometimes and forget why I walked into the room.
Well, yeah.
So, something that happened, like, he did this. He did the competition, the veto competition. He's talking to all these people. He's going back and forth. You don't remember who said this, that. You don't remember what you said to her. It happens. I don't think he intentionally lied to her at the time. I think he legitimately thought that he was gonna, or somebody was gonna take her off. The plan changed, and he forgot that he said that to her, and just honestly didn't remember it. So I think that's what it came down to.
But then it was, you know what? He was in a tough spot, and he was gonna get blood on his hands either way.
Yeah.
He was thinking. He pulls Raven off. The original plan was, and he pulled Kevin aside and told him this. I pull Raven off because Matt's my target. I pull Raven off. You go up in Raven's place as a pawn. And he goes, no, don't do that to me yet, man. Don't fucking put me on the block yet. So then he
said that there was a possibility that they would vote Kevin out. And that's when Kevin goes, oh, no, don't put me on after that. Like once he found out that there was a plan in place to maybe send him home, he said, don't put me up after that. So...
But right, I mean, this is going to sound confusing, but I think this is what kind of put Jason in an awkward position to get blood on his hands, how he was going to get it either way. Mm-hmm. Here's what he said in the diary room. So, I make Alex happy, and I pull Raven off, and I put Kevin up. But Kevin doesn't want me to use the veto, and then if I don't use the veto and not save Matt or Raven, then there's going to be a blow up. So either way, I'm going to get blood on my hands. Do I put Kevin, my man, up, and my boy, my ride or die, up in Raven's place if I use the veto on her, take her off the block, and then put Kevin up as a pawn? Or do I leave noms the same and have Matt and Raven come after me? So, with that being said, hey everyone, it's time for the veto meeting. So, as we know, Matt and Raven have been nominated for eviction, but we know Jason had the power to veto one of the nominations. He gave them both a chance, and they both felt pretty safe and confident. They were in that whole, like, they thought they had that I could sit back and relax moment because I know the plan.
Yeah.
But this is Big Brother. Anything is possible. So with that being said, as a hard a decision as this was for Jason, Jason has decided not to use the power of veto. And Dom, I'm going to let you take the hot seat for this one. I want to hear your full, I'm going to let Dom explain what happened. What happened after the veto meeting?
There was a huge blowout. Like, Matt instantly flipped out. Raven just started bawling. She was upset. Like, they were completely blindsided. At the same time, neither of them have done anything in the game to deserve being there in the first place. So, like, they shouldn't be so upset. I mean, they're upset because their trust was betrayed. I get that, but at the same time, they don't really deserve to be there. So, yeah, I don't know. And taking a shot at Matt and Raven just seemed really bad, like a bad idea to me, because there's much bigger targets in the house.
That could have been taken out.
Yeah. So
I wonder what Jason was thinking. I mean, I think he just wanted, but you know something? I think, wasn't Alex pissed off too that he didn't follow through with his plan and put Kevin up, because they were all pissed off at him. Everybody was.
Yeah, they were, but they got over it. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the live feeds, Matt was freaking out, and he's like, "Oh my God, you are such a punk bitch!"
Yeah,
he was.
Well, that was on the show too.
Yeah, it was. But on the live feeds, he said, obviously, I'm not going to hold a grudge against you, man. We're going to be friends outside of this house. That's the only mature thing. He goes, of course we're going to be friends outside of this house. This is a game. But strategy-wise, that was a punk-ass bitch move to pull. You don't pull, what did he call her, a 105-pound girl aside, take advantage of her innocence and tell her that you were going to save her right after you just told her she was going up as a pawn when you nominated us for eviction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would have been pissed off too if I were mad. I mean, but this is Big Brother, and like Mike Boogie Malin says, you can bounce checks in the Big Brother house.
Yep.
I mean, Raven was crying. She was more hysterical, and Matt was in her defense. But when it came down to Thursday's live eviction, it came down to everybody casting their votes to evict, and they each had a final chance to sway their votes, and they weren't too upset about, when they gave their final pleas to keep them in the game. So, he obviously, I think Matt made it clear that he wanted Raven to stay and that he would give his game up for her, like Cody gave up his game for Jessica.
And not only did he do that, but he ensured doing that by breaking the have-not rule to give himself a penalty vote. He was
given a penalty vote. So does that vote count as a vote to evict?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
That's the way it's worked in the past. That's the way it continued to work, and he did that intentionally to get an extra vote against him.
Right.
But at the same time, there was a lot of backlash online from people saying that he has no respect for the game. He
said that about Cody and Jessica too. Jessica and Cody wanted to self-evict themselves when they were in the game. Because after the halting hex was used, that was the only time she could use it. She could only secure her safety for that week, and there was no eviction. Another thing too, going into the live votes, now that all of the votes have been tallied up and the votes are in, it's time to break the news to the house guests and cast this final vote. So, house guests, Big Brother fans out there, fellow podcasters on other podcast channels, the votes are in. Just a reminder, when the vote is revealed, the evicted house guest will only have just a few moments to say goodbye, gather his or her belongings, and walk out the front door. By a vote of 6-0, including one penalty vote, Matt, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
Was not really a surprise. If you had to choose between one of the two to keep in there as a competitor, Raven's definitely one to keep. She hasn't won anything. You know, she's not going to
She
win
has.
anything. Matt also has not won anything, but he came close a few times. So
He did, but he is stronger compared to Raven.
yeah. So from a game point of view, you want Matt out.
Right.
I
And for the
personally would have liked to see Matt stay and finish his serial goal, but you know that's just me.
Yeah, that would be part of my OCD too, because he did eat a lot of cereal this season, and I have to say, I am going to
I
miss
think
Matt
almost
because,
800 bowls.
yeah, God bless the kid. But you know what? He said in his eviction interview, he doesn't really eat that many bowls of cereal. Did he say that, or did he not?
He said that he wanted to finish it. I'm pretty sure there was a running count. I think Big Brother actually tallied it, and it was something like 773 bowls or something like that.
Well, something kind of like that. I lost count of numbers. But going into this next live HOH competition, the battle being up for grabs for the first time in Big Brother history, and it's very rare that Southern California ever gets this, but there has been a delay in the competition due to rain.
Yeah.
So that was a big surprise to me. We go into the competition after commercials. The whole backyard is covered with a thick layer of plastic to keep everything dry naturally. So I figured, is this part of the competition? And then I read on the caption at the bottom, HOH competition due to rain will be delayed.
Yep.
So it had to play into the next competition. It had to play into the next night and into the live feeds. So when we got into it, now this is the first time, Dom, I don't know if you would agree with this, going into this competition, it was the famous Ready, Set, Whoa competition. You have to position yourself on these buttons, and on the screen in front of you on your lane, it'll say Ready, Set, and it'll give decoy words to kind of get you psychologically intact until you see go. But if you don't see go and you accidentally have a sudden spasm or have a sudden urge thinking that it is go, that is a false start, and you're eliminated from the competition. So I kind of want to put you in the hot seat over here, even though I kind of know what you're going to say. But go ahead. Going into this competition, did you think it was obvious what was going to happen?
Yeah, I kind of did, and it is a really smart move from Paul, Josh, and Christmas to put Christmas as the winner of this competition, because there's no guarantee that Christmas can play in the next competition, right? So you want all available people on your team to be able to play in that. So by guaranteeing Christmas to win this one means you guys are safe this week, and then all of your people have the full potential to compete next week, because Christmas may not be able to compete. So that was a very, very smart move, because there was talk at the end between Christmas and Josh whether or not Christmas is like, I'll throw it, you take it, Josh. That's no, like, giving it to Christmas is the smartest play. But yeah, put the way that Paul constructed this whole thing was complete and utter genius.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. Like, as much as I don't want to see Paul win, he deserves it at the same time. Like, I'm not gonna be mad if Christmas or Josh win. I'm gonna be mad if, like, Raven wins. I could actually say that I'd be mad if Kevin wins, as much as I want Kevin to win. At the same time, Kevin really hasn't done anything. I was hoping that he was going to put on his big boy pants and come play the game, at this stage of the game. But, he's still listening to what everybody says. Which, Paul's entire plan depended on whether or not Kevin was going to throw. Kevin had to be the first one out. If Kevin went out, then Alex said she'd go out. If Alex dropped out, then Raven said she'd drop out. So it was just a domino effect. And then you have them out, and you can't. Jason can't compete. So that leaves Christmas, Josh, and Paul. And if Paul drops out and Josh drops out, then yeah, they're gonna hand it to the one-legged girl. She won the foot race. One-legged girl won a foot race. It's absolutely insane.
It is. I mean, this is going to go down in the Big Brother Hall of Records, if you ask me. I mean, nobody even raced to hit their button, and we didn't even see the word go.
Yep.
But going into that, congratulations, Christmas. You are the new head of household. So Christmas was obviously happy. She had a chance to play a really big move and target Jalix, Jason and Alex. So she had that plan intact. But after the competition and she won, what were they strategizing? Do you remember?
Um, whether or not they should put Alex and Jason up, or if they should put Alex and Kevin up.
So she was kind of stuck in between, even though she had her eyes set on putting up Jason and Alex.
Yeah, Alex volunteered to go up, so that made things a lot easier. And then Alex
Right.
volunteered to have two pawns go up. Didn't say Jason, she said Josh, but so I know Alex and Jason are a little concerned, but I don't think they're 100% worried, I think they still think they're going to be safe, but at the same time, that means both Alex and Jason are going to be able to compete in the Power of Veto. So, that makes things a little harder for the house. If it comes down to it, though, say Jason takes himself off, that leaves Alex, and they can put up either Kevin or Raven, and then they could vote Alex out still. If they put Kevin up, they could vote Kevin out, but I think breaking up the couples is priority number one, so no matter what, one of them I think is going home at this stage. So, yeah, I don't know. And I'm really hoping that it's not Kevin. I hope that they don't change their mind at the last minute and send Kevin home.
Why do you want to see Kevin stay, though?
I really like Kevin. When we
I do
played
too.
when we played this game, I just like having him in the house. I don't think he'd necessarily make a good winner at this stage. I wanted him to for a while, but my opinions changed since then. But um, whenever you have an older guy in the house, they're usually evicted pretty early on in the game.
They are.
One of the few to ever make it far and actually win the game was Evil Dick, right? And that was back
Yeah.
in season 8. We haven't
Yeah.
seen an older guy stay in the house too long since then. So,
Yeah. And who
Kevin's
has
made it the furthest out of all the older people that have ever been in the house, since season 8.
and that was 10 years ago. The first
Yeah.
guy, the first older man out of all the house guests in Big Brother history has won 10 years ago. That was 10 years ago at this time. Evil Dick pulled off a big win because he was the oldest one in the house. He had to be in his early 50s,
Yeah. Yep.
which is crazy. I mean, do you think he deserved to win that game that season, or was he
100%. 100%. He played that game really well.
you know something? I wouldn't be you know how that back in season 16 people were accusing Zach of being Amanda Zuckerman's cousin
Yeah.
because of the same attitude and stuff like that. I'm surprised nobody compared Cody to Evil Dick, and Cody's favorite past house guest was Evil Dick Donato.
Mm. Yeah,
It's
maybe.
crazy.
I actually haven't been following Evil Dick's Twitter to see his opinion of this season. I actually kind of... I'll have to go back and look, but, I was curious what he thought of Cody.
Yeah, you know something, because Cody was basically the Evil Dick of this season. Like, him and Evil Dick have the similar personalities. Do you agree or disagree?
I mean, there's similarities, but I wouldn't say that they're that.
100%.
Yeah, I wouldn't compare them really. Like, I never would have thought to be like, oh yeah, Cody's this season's Evil Dick. I never would have made that comparison, but I can see similarities in it.
Well, Evil Dick had a passion for the game and actually,
Right.
and actually played with other house guests. But in reality, Cody was being very ignorant toward these people. And now he didn't sugarcoat anything, but I just don't like how he's such a hateful person. I mean, I don't like that in somebody. If you're such a hateful person, and then you're going to expose it on reality TV, I'm sure you're going to get lots of supporters and lots of haters after this show. But you got to watch yourself when you on these reality shows. You could receive hate, you could receive beyond sometimes.
Yeah. Look
I
at
just don't, I'm not a fan of hateful people. I mean, I'm not a hateful person, And I would never, ever, ever degrade anybody in that house, especially as much as Josh was being a bully this season. I definitely wouldn't have called him out and called him a fat piece of shit, or, I'm going to come after you outside of this house or make correct.
Look at what happened to, what's her name from last season? The racist girl.
God, who was the racist girl last season?
Begin with an A. AG, I think were her initials.
AG. Oh my goodness. I'll have to go back and look again.
Or was that 2 seasons ago? I don't even remember.
That was probably Candace, I think.
No, it's not Candace.
No, Aaron.
Aaron, yeah, Aaron.
Aaron. Yeah, we're talking season 15. That was 4 years ago. But
was it really?
Aaron,
that was that long
yeah,
ago?
Yeah, she made it. Yeah, it was 4 years ago, summer 2013.
Oh, wow.
We didn't even do a podcast for season 15 because we didn't do the podcast yet.
Yeah.
And the winner, you know what? I was happy. Speaking of which, I was kind of happy that Andy Herron won. He was the first gay man in Big Brother history of the LGBT community to win Big Brother.
Yeah.
I liked Andy. He played it easy. Nobody was targeting him for a while. He played a good game. He laid low. And so did Victoria. Victoria floated her way to the end and came in third place. But I thought she played a smart game, too.
Yeah.
This season, I think the one laying low like Victoria would be Raven. Raven's laying low. So far, she hasn't opened her mouth up until now. She's playing it safe and easy. But I have a feeling she could make third or second place, or possibly first.
Yeah. I would like to see the final 4 be Kevin, Paul, Christmas, and Josh. I'd love to see that. And by some fluke, have Kevin, win head of household. And, the look on all their faces, would be absolutely shocking because, then one of them, Josh, Paul, or Christmas would have to get evicted, and then, it's going to come down to the final one. Anybody in that position, Christmas, Josh, or Paul, would be completely stupid to pick Kevin as their second person, so Kevin would have to win a 3-part crazy competition at the end. There's no way, so.
Yeah, there would be no way. If I just have this gut feeling, I'm not a psychic, like I told you and Danny and Jacob. I'm not a psychic, but I just have this crazy gut feeling. Final 2 this season is going to be Paul and Josh.
I would love to see Christmas there. I really would.
I would too. I mean, if it were Christmas and Josh, and if Josh were to win this game, he wouldn't have Cody's vote.
Yeah.
Because Cody and him were arch rivals.
If it's Paul, he's going to be smart to take Josh, because if Paul takes Josh, you have Cody and, a couple people in the house that don't like his loud mouth and will not vote for Josh. But at the same time, out of spite, Cody might vote for Josh regardless. But if
he didn't like Paul from the start,
yeah,
right?
But if Paul goes up with Christmas, there's going to be the sympathy vote of, you made it this far with your leg, with a broken leg. You're a really strong competitor. So there's the sympathy card already playing. So I don't see Paul picking Christmas as his second.
You know what will be funny? If Christmas did win this game, she would walk out of the house in crutches, and the confetti would spray out on her. This would be the first time a winner walks out the front door limping or with crutches.
Yeah.
I mean, getting into that
season 1.
Season 1, yeah, because it was Eddie McGee, and he had one leg. He didn't have a broken. He had one leg,
right.
And didn't he have a prosthetic? I forgot. That was 17 years ago.
I think in some situations he did, but he did have crutches for some of it.
Did you see season 1 where, I can't remember what happened when he won? Did he walk out of the house in crutches?
I don't remember, to be honest. That was so long ago. I remember watching it when it was live, but I've never gone back to rewatch it. I know it's on CBS All Access.
I have to go back and watch season 1 because it's got me curious, because I can't remember season 1. It was so long ago.
Yeah, it's a very, very different game. There was no veto competitions or anything like that.
It was played like the UK plays theirs.
Yeah.
But after all the strategizing that we went through, Christmas already has her game plan, and in her diary room, she's in her diary room sessions, she's actually happy. She's like, Alex, you're willing to go up as a pawn? This makes my job so easy. Thank you. Of course I'll put you up.
Yep.
So going into that, hey everyone, it's time for the nomination ceremony. Going into nominations, the table's getting smaller. We know it's getting closer toward the end. And in the nomination box are Christmas's 2 keys with the names of the house guests she is nominating for eviction. She will turn both keys to lock in her votes, and their faces will appear on the memory wall. Unpredictably, she has nominated Jason and Alex for eviction, gave them a bit of a strategy, and Paul is sitting back comfortably knowing that he has constructed up another plan that's going to get him further in the game. And Jason and Alex are sitting back like, okay, so we're 2 pawns. Who's the real target? They're on board thinking Kevin's the actual target.
Right.
Anything else we have to cover, or did we cover everything else?
I think we covered everything, but, it's getting down to the wire. It's interesting. Don't we have a double eviction coming up now?
Yes, this Thursday is double eviction, and we will be covering for that. So
Yep.
When we cover double eviction, that's going to be... it's going to stir up a lot of drama and a lot of paranoia, because everybody, now they have to turn on each other because they've already gotten the big targets out of the house.
Yep.
So getting into that...
There's how many people left in the house right now? 7?
7. We're in the final 7 right now.
So that'll knock us down to 5 after the double eviction.
We're down, after double eviction, we'll be down to final 5, right?
Yeah.
So going into that, get 24/7 live video from inside the Big Brother house with the Big Brother live feeds. Go to cbs.com/bb19 to try it for free. Dom, where can the people find you?
You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM.
You can find me down below also on Twitter at Zupa23, ZUPA23. Dom, take it away.
And you can find us all and more on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, Facebook, and YouTube at /ASO TV Podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, games, and movies. Until then.
For now. But for now, let's eavesdrop on the house guests. From outside the Big Brother house, I am Luke Labagnera. This is Dom Greco. We'll see you next week. Good night.